Okay, so now we've mastered the basics. We've got holding the yarn and the hook, we've got chaining, we've got single crochets, and we've got double crochets. I'm going to show you how to work in a circle. So lots of patterns will require you to go backwards and forwards along a straight line, but if you're making something like a hat, there are lots of different ways that you can make a hat, but lots of hat patterns require you to start with a circle to begin with. Now there's a couple of ways that we can make the start of our circle. The first way that I'm going to show you, I'll do a different video on the second way. The first way that I'm going to show you, we're going to create our slip knot like we did before. So cross it over in an X, pinch it, and then pull the yarn through. I'm going to pop my hook in there. This is the first way, and this is kind of like the beginner's way of making a circle. And what you're going to do is you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to do what's called a slip stitch into that first chain. So that first chain there, we're going to do a slip stitch, and all that is you put the hook into the hole, you yarn over and pull through, and then pull it through the loop that was on your hook. And what you have created for yourself is a hole. Can you see that? And into that hole we are going to be making some stitches. So to begin with, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do double crochets into this hole. Now the hat pattern that I like uses this yarn, which is chunky, and asks you to do 11 double crochets into this ring. Now different hat patterns are different and will ask you to do different things, but this is the pattern that I pretty much make all of the beanie hats that I make with. Okay, so I've got I'll move that out of the way so you can see it a little bit better against this white background. I've got my ring and I've chained 2, and what we're going to do is we're going to make 11 double crochet stitches into that hole there. So that hole there, we're going to make 11. So we're going to yarn over and go into the hole, yarn over and pull back through the hole, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and that chain 2 counts as 1 stitch. We've got 1 double crochet here, we need to make 10 more, so it's this chain 2 plus 11 double crochets. So I'm going to do it again, yarn over, go into the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're going to make all 11 into there. So I've done 1, 2, I'm going to make 9 more. Now the first few are relatively easy, but as you start making more double crochet stitches, you will find that you start running out of room a little bit, and all you need to do is just gently move your stitches around. Okay, so I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochet stitches into there, 6, oh, I've lost my stitch, where did I get to? I'm going to start that one again. It's the nice thing about crochet, if you make a mistake it's easy just to pull out. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we're going to double check that we've made 11, so each of these lines is 1 stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the chain 2 counts as a stitch, so technically we've got 12, but we've made 11 double crochets in there. Now you'll notice that what I just did is tightened that ring up a little bit, and you do that by pulling the loose yarn, not the working yarn that's attached to your ball, the loose yarn. Don't pull it too hard, otherwise it'll snap, but just pull it gently enough. Now what you'll notice here is you've got like a little Pac-Man shape, but that's not quite a circle. So to make our circle, we're going to find the top of the chain 2 that we made. So chain 1, chain 2, the top is that bit there. We're going to insert our hook into there. We're going to yarn over and pull through and pull straight through, so doing a slip stitch into that first part there. Okay, so that is a circle. That's how we start off our circle pattern. Now, to increase this, to make it bigger, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, and into each of these stitches we're going to make 2 double crochets. So that first one there, that chain 2, counts as a stitch, so we need to make 1 more in the same hole to make 2. So we've got 1, 2, and then the next one we're going to make another 2, 1, 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are in these 2 are in the same stitch, these 2 are in the same stitch. Just going to release a little bit more yarn. Right, we're going to go all the way around doing 2 double crochet into each of those stitches. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So as you can see, it's getting bigger and bigger, and in each of those single stitches I have put 2 double crochet. I'm going to keep doing that all the way around, and if you do the same, when we get to this part here, I'll show you how to join. Okay, so I've gone all the way around my circle, and I've made 2 double crochet into each of those 11 stitches that I did all the way around. I'm now going to join to the top of that chain 2, just like we did on the first round. So the top of the chain 2 is chain 1, chain 2, that's the top, and that's the part that we're going to slip stitch into. So we're going to poke our hook into that stitch there, yarn over and pull through the stitch and pull straight through the loop on our hook, and you can see that I've made a circle. Okay, so we've done 2 rounds. Now this time we're going to chain 2, just like we have at the start of all the rounds, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to make another double crochet into this stitch here. So that's our 2 double crochet into the same stitch. In the next stitch we're going to make 1 double crochet, so we're going to do 1 into there. In the next one we're going to do 2, and you guessed it, in the next one we're going to do 1, and we're going to carry on like that, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way around until we get to the end here. When I'm there, I'll stop and I'll show you what happens in the next round. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, and now again I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 from the start of the round. So find the top, which is there, pull through and pull through for a slip stitch. Okay, I'm going to show you one more increase round and then show you how to make the rest of the hat. So the amount of increase rounds that you make depends on the size of hat that you're going to make, but I'm just going to show you one more increase round. So I've chained 2, I'm going to go into the stitch for my 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and now we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch and 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So this time I've got 2, 1, 1, and then we do 2 in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch. So we've got 2, 1, 1. In the next stitch we're going to do 2, in the next stitch we're going to do 1, and in the next stitch we're going to do 1. And I'm going to carry on all the way around till I get to here, doing 2 stitches in one stitch and 1 stitch in the next and 1 stitch in the next, 2, 1, 1, etc. all the way around until you get right back to here. When I'm there, I'm going to show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm at the end of this round, and again I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain and go all the way through. Okay, so this is not going to be a very big hat. It's like probably a newborn size. You will want to continue the increases to make a larger hat. And what I mean by that is, if you wanted to make an increase on the next round, is you'd do 2 in the first stitch, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, etc. And then on the next round you'd do 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, etc. I'll see if I can try and write that down so that it makes a bit more sense than I'm explaining. Be careful because suddenly it will get very, very large, and if you do too many increase rounds, then it will look, well, it'll just be too big for your head. I will link you a pattern that I use for my beanie hats if you're using this chunky yarn, which I know lots of you are because I brought some in for you. Okay, so if you've got to the end of your increases, no matter how many increase rounds you've done, what you're going to do now is simply do double crochets all the way round for as many rounds, as you like. So until your hat is as long as you'd like it to be. And all I'm doing is one double crochet into each of the stitches all the way around. When I get to here, I'll show you and I'll join, and then I'll do the next round for you as well. Okay, I'm on the last stitch of the round. I just wanted to mention, when you get to the end of a round, just be really careful to notice where your last stitch is. So my last stitch is here. I'm going to make one double crochet into that stitch. And it can be really tempting to put another double crochet into there. If you did that, your hat is going to get like exponentially larger. So don't put it into there. So yeah, we're going to do our slip stitch into this top stitch here, and that is the end of our first just double crochet round. I don't know if you can see, but already it's starting to grow upwards. And what's going to happen, the more rounds you do of just double crochet, it's going to grow outwards and outwards until it's as long as you want it to be, and then you can stop. I am going to pause here and show you another hat that I've made rather than me finishing this right now. Okay, so this is just a little pumpkin hat that I made one of my boys. So this was where I left off with my little hat there. You can see I got to sort of this point on the pumpkin hat, and you can see the more double crochet rounds you add, the longer your hat gets. And I actually ended up doing a couple of extra rounds here because I like the turned up sort of look on a hat. So yeah, that is pretty much it. When you get to the end, it's the same sort of thing. You pull the yarn out and then sew in the end, and then you end up with a little hat, and you can make little toppers and hearts or flowers and things to sew on the sides of it. Yeah, that's sort of basic hat tutorial. And I will now just record how to make a magic ring.